guys. Don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little sick of my old intro. I don't know, I feel like I've just worn it out at this point. I don't know, and I'm getting a little tired of saying it because I feel like it's just starting to get old. So, hello friends, what is up? It's Kat here. See, but now I'm just falling back into like the muscle memory. What's up, everyone? I hope you are all doing so well. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here and checking out this video. This video is one that I have wanted to film for a while now. This is a video that I've wanted to film for a little bit now, like honestly since I started my channel. This is not Star Wars related at all, but it's something I've always wanted to talk about and share more of on my channel because it's a huge part of my life, and that is my artwork. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, in the event that you're watching this video and were unaware, I did major in painting and drawing after four years of college, and I have a minor in art history as well. And art is a huge passion in my life, and I mean, obviously I went to school for it. I have always wanted to try to integrate more of my art onto this channel, hence why I started doing the time-lapse, hence why I have introduced, you know, my online store. Talk more about it on my channel, but I just haven't done it out of fear that, you know, this video is like not gonna get many views, which is fine, it's fine. You guys know I am not here for the views. I'm here to hang out with you guys and have a fun time. So I actually have to give credit to Charlie for this video because he requested it like a long time ago, and I was like, that's a great idea. And I'm honestly flattered that anyone, even a single person, would want to learn more about my art or just listen to me talk about, you know, my paintings or drawings from, you know, the past couple of years. So, but yeah, I figured we could just sit down today, especially since I have finally, you know, published my online store, and a lot of you guys have been checking it out, which I thank you so much. It's so awesome to see that the store is getting more traffic and that people are even checking out my website. Like, that means everything to me. So I figured now that I'm actually drawing attention to my website, I should probably explain some of the other works that I have on there, because some of my artwork is definitely weird. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on my website that warrants an explanation, I feel like, so I figured now is a better time than ever to go through it and talk to you guys about, you know, some of my favorite pieces on my website and stuff that I've made. Let's just go. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, like, just pulling up my website, like, on my homepage, there's a huge mix. As much as I love to paint, colored pencil, I would say without question, is my absolute favorite medium to use. I love to draw with a lot of detail and precision, if I have the patience for it. So, and colored pencil allows you to do that, pretty much sometimes more so than painting does, in my opinion. And so it's, you know, I gravitate towards it the most, but I didn't do too many colored pencil pieces in college because it is very time consuming. But yeah, let's just go through and explain some of this stuff, shall we? This is the first landscape that I ever did, and it was at this point that I knew that landscape wasn't for me. Yeah, I was like so proud of this painting when I finished it. I was like, oh my god, I am amazing, I could sell this. And I look back on it and I am just like, oh, what was I thinking? I mean, this was also my first time painting with oil paint ever, so I mean, I guess I'll give myself a pat on the back for that. Like, it's not a total flop, but yeah, this was my sophomore year. I mean, I still like this painting, but it's definitely one of many pieces that I've made in school where I thought it was incredible when I finished it, and then a year passed and I was like, this is not good at all. Yeah, as you can start to pretty immediately see, I have a bit of a dark side. When it comes to artwork, I really love like surrealist art, and I don't know, in art history, like, whenever we would learn about the images that were the most, like, bloody or gory or had just a little twinge of, like, darkness and spookiness to them, like, those were my favorite pieces to learn about. I just loved it. Like, I love getting spooky and dark and twisted with art. Even all of my peers were like so confused by it because you guys know, like, clearly I'm not. You wouldn't look at me and assume that this is the type of stuff that I would make. But yeah, I just had like a weird obsession with wanting to make like creepy, bloody, anatomical paintings. Like, I can't believe I'm openly admitting this. But yeah, this is a portrait of my brother, who I have to give a huge shout out to because he modeled for me so much in college, because I love portraiture and I love figure painting. They can be super hard if you don't have a reference or a model posing for you. And so I literally always used to hit up my younger brother and be like, can I take a picture of you making this pose? And so yeah, so that's why if you see this recurring figure in like all of my pieces, that's why it's my brother. This is all of these graphite drawings are my junior year? Yeah, again, there's my brother. I wanted to do a series with like melting skin. You guys are gonna judge me for this video. I might lose some subs because you guys are gonna realize how weird I am. But this is the exact reason I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to explain myself and my weird obsessions with gore and creepiness when it comes to art and art history. So yeah, I wanted to do a graphite series of just like, I don't know. I guess part of this was also like a big anatomical study for me. So I had to like really use my imagination for a lot of this. But yeah, these took me flipping forever. This was for a final project. And I literally spent hours making this. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, I really was just kind of interested in what does like the flesh look like? What does the muscle look like? Okay, this piece is actually the first piece I ever sold as an artist. And this is honestly like a fluke piece for me. How do I explain that? So I made this in high school, and I wanted to do a series about Buddhism and Taoism and kind of animal symbolism and what animals represent in those respective, you know, belief systems. And something just came over me when I made this piece. I really don't know how to explain it, but this concept just kind of like came to my mind, and I just had to write like immediately like sketch it down on paper, and then I like painted it, and I was like, oh my god, this is like maybe one of the best things I've ever done. And it still remains one of my favorite paintings that I've ever done, but also I don't think I've ever come up with a conceptual piece that was anywhere near as cool as this one is. Not to like toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, and I'm also just proud of this piece because it was the first one that I ever sold. I don't know, I guess that's why this piece is so special to me. Like something just, some artistic deity just came over me and it just guided me through this. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But I mean, I guess that can relate in like any hobby. Like if you have a really great game of baseball and you hit every single ball that's thrown at you and you like hit a home run or a grand slam and you're like, why can't I play like that every single game? And it's just like, that was just like a special, something just came over you and made you do exceptionally well that one time. Like that's exactly the case here. Okay, this is another piece. This is my brother again, colored pencil on black paper. This is where my colored pencil obsession was starting to pick up again. And this is actually the first time that I had drawn with colored pencils since high school, so I mean, it's a little rough, but I really wanted to do a concept of like, again, this bleeding, gory, gross heart. Like, oh my god, you guys are gonna think I'm so weird. Okay, moving on. Okay, again with this weird, all this weird stuff. Yeah, this is kind of a similar vein as the graphite pieces that I did with like, you know, the anatomy, the bone, the muscle, tendons. We had this skeleton in the painting department. I don't think it was real. It was like a reference skeleton that you like wheeled out, and he was on this thing, and you know, for your figure painting class, the professor would like wheel it out and you'd have to like draw it, but it was there for us to use as a reference. And so I remember like asking my professor if I could go into the prop closet and steal the skeleton for this one. Oh, another self-portrait. Yeah, these pieces are a little bit like personal. I don't know if I'm gonna go too in depth with them, but this is the one that I'm most concerned about. People, like, I send you guys to my website to like check out my stuff, and then you probably see this and you're like, what is wrong with Catherine? But I promise I'm all good. I enjoy spooky art. Okay, so this piece I had so many more intentions for. This was my junior year. I had a figure painting class. Was this for figure painting? Yes, this was for figure painting. And I had so many more plans for this piece. Like, this was my underpainting. Once again, we've got my brother starring as the model. But yeah, I wanted to do a painting of inspired by the tragedy of Oedipus Rex, which, I mean, I'm sure if you went through high school or college, you had to read that at some point, but it's essentially the one where he realizes that he married his mom and killed his dad, and so he takes his eyes out at the end. Can you tell that I like creepy stuff? Anyway, so yeah, I really liked that play, and I wanted to do a painting inspired by it and have this, like, you know, this guy supposed to represent Oedipus Rex holding his eyeballs, like, blind, like, black holes for his eyes, and I wanted to have all this blood and stuff dripping and down, and so, I needed to have, like, a couple hours progress due on, for this painting on, like, a Monday, and I was in the studio on like a Sunday night. And so I was procrastinating a little bit, but I was like, all right, I have to just get something down on the canvas to make it look like I did something over the weekend. So my professor thinks I like put work in. And then I literally whipped this up. This was my underpainting. Like, I had so much more plans for this piece. And then my professor from a different course, one that this painting was not for, came into my studio and saw this, and he said, literally, do not touch this painting. This painting is finished, and I don't want you to add anything else to this piece at all. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I need to make sure that's okay with my other professor, because this is for her class, and I needed to have a finished piece, and this is not finished. And he was like, don't touch this. It's perfect. And you need to learn how to loosen up a little bit with your paintings and drawings, because as you can see, a lot of my stuff, like I said, I like to be detailed, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and so so this was like a challenge for me to just make a painting like this and leave it and not touch it and just accept it as it is and say that that's finished. And yeah, and so my professor, he literally took this painting out of my studio and hid it from me, and he said, do not touch this. And as hard as it was for me to not go back and rework this, this is now like one of my favorite paintings that I made in college, and this was a true defining moment for me where I learned how to like loosen up and not be so tedious and uptight about my paintings. So shout out to that professor. He was the best. But I needed something else to hand in for that class, and so I decided I needed to try to remake it into a diptych, because my other professor, my figure painting professor, agreed that I could just leave it, you know, how it was, but I felt like I still needed to I felt like that painting was literally 3 hours worth of work, and I was like, I cannot hand in something that's only 3 hours worth of work when other people are probably spending like days on their paintings. And so I was like, all right, I at least have to make another one to look like I put more effort in, but also because I wanted to challenge myself again to loosen up and not be so strict and have a little more fun with brush strokes and just stuff like that. And this color scheme became like a big thing in like the rest of my paintings throughout college. After this, I became so like, oh my god, I just love this like monochromatic, muted, kind of weird greenish, bluish palette, and a lot of my paintings, which I haven't put on my website yet, take after this color scheme. Yeah, these two are colored pencil portraits from their details from a larger piece that I didn't really finish entirely. I left a lot of it blank, and so yeah, I figured I wanted to post these at least on my website, but not the full drawing. But these two are from a larger drawing. Once again, that's a self-portrait, doesn't really look anything like me, and that's a portrait of my brother again. But yeah, I mean, you can see why I needed to like loosen up a little bit towards the end of my college career, because I was just so obsessed with having everything so detailed and precise and perfect and 100% finished, even though I never actually finished this piece. This piece, I made this, I'm going in such a weird order. I made this my sophomore year. I had figure drawing at the time. That was my first figure class. And when I really was like, oh my god, I want to just take figure painting and figure drawing forever and ever. But this was a final project, and we had to do a portrait of someone we considered to be a villain, and then another portrait of someone we considered to be a hero. For my villain piece, I did a painting of Charles Manson, which is not on my website. And for the hero piece, I was like, I have no idea who I'm gonna do, and I didn't want to do anyone cliche or anything like that. Like, I was struggling, and we literally got the assignment on like one day of the week, and then later on in that week, Joe Biden himself actually came to talk and give a super motivational speech at my school, and I waited in line for like 3 hours to get my ticket. And I remember going, and he was talking about, you know, the work that he did for women's rights and his introduction to this former model, Marla Hanson, who I'm surprised I had never heard of her story, but it was a pretty big deal. She was a model living in New York, like in her 20s, like just getting started in her career, beautiful, of course, and her creepy landlord, you know, was trying to like hit on her, and she didn't want to date him, and she always had to reject him. And then he finally sent some of his like goon gang members to slash her face with razor blades, and she had to get like hundreds of stitches in her face, and it was terrible. It's a terrible story, but she, you know, came out of it this like stronger person and this figure of like female strength and empowerment. And yeah, a really, really motivational story. And I had never heard of her until Joe Biden talked about her at his lecture that he did, and I was like, oh, I think I want to draw her. Once again, if you don't know the context behind the portrait, you're probably seeing this on my website like, what is wrong with Catherine? Why is she so morbid? But yeah, this piece, I mean, looking at it now, there are so many proportional issues, but at the time, this is like one of the longest pieces that I ever made. This took me like 10 hours of work, but I was so proud of it when I was done with it. So yeah, and it still remains one of my favorite colored pencil drawings. Alrighty, finally, we've got the last painting that I ever made in college. Sadness, really sad. I had kind of gotten back onto the precision, super detailed wagon, you know, like I never fully like let go of that with my paintings, and I was getting a little sick of that. Again, this was like my last semester of school. I was kind of just ready to be done, a little sick of the way that I had been painting up until this point. And so this was my final piece for my figure painting class. And the prompt was you could do whatever you want. You just had to paint somebody, a figure, anything. And so I wanted to do just like just a portrait and have fun with it and try out a different technique. So like this style of painting, like this kind of expressive, impressionist, but not really, but way looser like brush strokes and stuff like that, like a much speedier painting, like this was so new to me. But at the time I was getting into like an obsession phase with some new artists like Ilya Repin, John Singer Sargent, who is a boss. He's also like so basic. Like every art student was like, oh, I want to paint like John Singer Sargent. But I really am obsessed with his work, especially after I like made this piece, and I literally just like stared at his work for like hours to just try to absorb inspiration. And then again, this was kind of like a similar experience to my piece that I made in middle school or high school, where like I sat down to just paint this piece and something came over me, and I finished this painting in like 2 or 3 days, which is shorter than I was like expecting. Like that sounds like a long period of time, but for a final project in art school, that's like, you're lucky if you get it done in 2 to 3 days. Yeah, I just sat down and I painted, and it was like going so well, and I didn't hit any walls at all, and I was just having fun with it. And so this is still like one of my favorite paintings that I made when I was in school, and sadly it was the last painting that I made while I was in school. But this is my beautiful cousin who modeled for me, and yeah, I was just so happy with how this one came out, and I finished this, and I was just so upset that I wasn't gonna be in school anymore. But yeah, that's it. That's everything I feel like I wanted to touch on to kind of explain myself a little bit more for those of you who've been so kind to check out my website, but you've probably gotten there and been like, what is all of this? To those of you who've been on my website, thank you, and I just wanted to come on and, you know, take Charlie's recommendation that he's been encouraging me to do for so long now, and like I said, this is a video that I wanted to make for so long now, and I just haven't had the guts to do it. Because talking about your art can be, I don't know, make you feel like vulnerable. If we have any fellow artists here, that's really cool. I know we do, because some of you sent awesome drawings in for the 10K subscriber live stream, and I loved it. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I'm glad. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Charlie, who submitted, you know, a request for this video for so long ago, and I just never did it. And so Charlie, thank you for the encouragement that I needed. I'm sorry guys if it seems like I've been plugging my website nonstop these past couple of videos. I know it's annoying, and I know that, you know, this has nothing to do with really Star Wars or anything of the theme of my channel. So if you're annoyed, I'm sorry, but you know what? No, I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna apologize for wanting to promote like my life's work. Like, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys are doing so well as always, and if you enjoyed this video, thank you. Shout out to you. You're awesome. You're all awesome for being here, and I appreciate you guys so much. So alrighty, until next time, I will see you guys again very soon. See, whenever I don't say may the force be with you, I don't know how to end my videos. May the force be with you guys always, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.